Hey everyone, I just wanted to give a quick update on the residency and kind of like what happens next, let's say, because surprisingly it's already been uh, 8 weeks actually, and we're coming up to the last part of the residency program, which is exciting and also usually a bit sad as well. But it's kind of fun because it's the last part of the program where we have the exhibition, the auction, and we kind of celebrate these last couple of these 2 3 months that we you all had together. So I guess to give you like a bit of an overview of what will happen from now onwards, apart from the scheduled kind of like AMAs that you should all have in your calendar, which will take place next week, there might be like a couple more AMAs after Easter. But usually these kind of like last 3 to 4 weeks are meant to be more of a hands-off time for you guys to essentially have no classes or less classes and more time to work on the exhibition and the auction and the pieces and the artworks that you will be showcasing and auctioning in the final residency exhibition. So usually what we've done in the past is that a working group of people has come together to create a metaverse space in Arium Spaces, which is where we hold all of our auctions and exhibitions. And these are like, I don't know, people that are maybe like passionate or interested in building in Arium. Usually it's around like 2 to 3 people, and then a couple of like other volunteers kind of like come together to help set up the exhibition. But usually the core working group is 2 to 3 people. If any one of you is interested in building how the exhibition will look like in Arium Spaces, let me know. And we usually create like a small working group and a chat and kind of like go from there. I sometimes give a general, let's say, creative like guideline of what we might want to build, but it's really like up to us and up to all of us to make it as personal as we want it to be. So if that's something that you're interested in, if it's something that you want to like experiment and test out, like Dan and Aiden from Arium Spaces are always super available for us to reach out to, and they help us with all questions and queries that we have. We actually have a lot of the past residents that are now super experienced in building in Arium Spaces. You've heard from Boria, from Micol, from Walt, but there's also more, so they can also like jump in and help us build the exhibition space. But it's always nice when it comes from like the actual cohort of the residency itself. So if you're interested in building the space and testing it out and working on a project like this together, let me know after this chat, and we can set up a working group. Other than the actual like exhibition space in Arium, the way that we've set up the auction and the exhibition, we ask the residents to participate in this exhibition and auction with one creation of an NFT, which is a one-of-one piece, which usually gets auctioned on the Vertical Crypto Art auction site. The way that we've done it so far is that residents have the option to donate the piece to the Vertical Crypto Art Residency wallet, keeping their royalties, or not. So this is completely up to you. You can decide whether you want to donate the piece or not. You can decide how much you want to donate. You can decide how much you want to keep for you, for your royalties, or for whoever, essentially. Completely up to you. Usually we do ask if you want to have at least like a work exhibited. I think it's nice. We have like an event in Arium spaces where we gather some of our like community and people that support us, and it's usually always like a fun event. We always have live music, a DJ or DJs playing, and yeah, it's kind of fun. The auction in itself lasts 24 hours, so it's a 24-hour auction which starts when we kick off the event, and then finishes 24 hours later. For this specific auction and purpose, we have only like one requirement, which is that the NFTs should be minted on Tezos, on the Tezos blockchain. This can all be done through our auction platform and site, which I'm actually going to link now in the chat so you can all see it. And yeah, that is, I think, it, to be honest. So just to kind of like the dates, sorry, yes. So the dates that we have planned for the auction are the 4th and the 5th of May. So it's essentially a month-ish from now, which gives us plenty of time to, one, build the metaverse space in Arium, two, for you guys to think about the piece and decoration that you'd like to exhibit, and for us to kind of like get everything together, for people to know about the event, and for it to be a success, essentially. Some of the kind of like the past examples or things that we've had are, and I think that are really nice, are either like collaborations that have happened between like residents. So if you're thinking, oh, I'd love for the piece to be like a collaboration between me and another resident, that is absolutely possible, and actually it is super welcomed. If it's if you'd like to even volunteer or participate into the live music part and you'd like to DJ at the event, again, super welcomed. Just let me know. And yeah, that is kind of it. So to recap for who joined, the residency classes curriculum kind of ends at the end of next week. Which brings us into the last part of the residency, which is more about focusing on like the final auction and exhibition of the residency program. We do ask all of the artists, if they want to participate in this auction and exhibition, to mint one NFT, which will be a one of one, and will be auctioned on the Vertical Crypto Auction House. And the only requirement of this is to be minted on Tezos. There is a possibility and an option for you guys to either donate the piece to the residency program wallet or not, and to keep the royalties and decide that you'd like to keep the funds of the auction. And yes, something else that I should mention that is not about the auction and exhibition, but of course, like the mentors and all of the mentor lists and the one-of-ones are still absolutely open for you guys to chat to them, to book one-of-ones. I will also put some time again myself to have chats with you guys too. If we didn't already, and also if you did and want to chat again, that's absolutely fine, happy to. Yeah, so anything that you want to like chat to the mentors about, any one-of-ones that you haven't booked, they're still there, available. Do take the opportunity, I think, to chat to the mentors. And if you haven't done so already, even if you have and want to chat to a few more, I think it's a great opportunity to do so. So that is not going anywhere. It's still there and still open for all of you guys to have access to and to chat to them as much or as little as you want. I want to open it up to questions, thoughts, anything that is not clear that I might have missed.
Hello.
Hello.
So, um, for example, for me, like I haven't minted on the Tesla's blockchain, so could we? I mean, I guess we could do this in like a one-on-one call. Um, I don't know how to price on there. Uh, so yeah.
We can definitely have a chat about it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah. For sure.
Perfect.
Can I follow up on that one actually? Regarding the pricing, should it be in relation to how we price normally, or is it because it's like an event, a standalone event, should that be approached differently?
So I think with pricing, it should definitely be like in line maybe with what you've priced in the past. We can chat about it specifically, but usually what my recommendation is to have a sensible like pricing strategy that doesn't, let's say, surprise too much like people or collectors that might be looking at your work, but also that doesn't undervalue your work and what you've done, and also the fact that it's part of a wider kind of like exhibition. So I think like in between, let's say, something along the lines of maybe some of the latest sales, some of the highest sales that you've had in the past, but also not like 10 times more just because it's part of an exhibition or an auction.
Okay, thanks, Micol.
One question: could you price it yourself? I mean, if we donate it.
I have never done it, to be honest, and I don't think it's fair. I think it should be up to you to price it. I can definitely like suggest and talk to you guys and figure out the best pricing, but I think it's something that has to be done accordingly, like and as both like a conversation. I would definitely not feel comfortable to price work of an artist myself.
Okay, thank you.
I got another question. So you said we could mint through you, or if we mint ourselves, is there like a preference in platform, or does it not matter whatsoever?
So the way that the auction works is actually we mint through the Hiket Nung Teya contract. Philippe was typing, so he can share more about it, but he is the one that knows all of the technical details. So he's
Okay, thank you.
So ideally it's Hiket Nung smart contracts, but if there's any reason why maybe you don't want to use it or you're absolutely against it, we can try and figure that out.
Okay, thanks.
Jean, do you want it to be a one-of-one? Yes, that is ideally, yes, a one-of-one because it's an auction piece. So yeah.
Hey, Micol. I just had a question about the exhibition spaces and if you have any links to the previous cohort spaces, just to get an idea of what has been done before.
Of course.
I remember I think I saw like the cohort number two's exhibition somewhere on the website. I can't find it now, but if that's still up, like I'd love to see it.
Yeah, of course. Great question. I'm sharing them now, both of them. I'll share it now. Again, like they're completely different. So it was like very much up to us to kind of like build the space essentially like as we wanted. So you'll see that both of them are like really like different. Let me just share it. We actually had a like a little like entrance. And then people had to go into the space, but I think some people like found that I don't know. I think we had like drop-offs from the entrance to the space where like people didn't actually go into the vortex. So maybe that's something that we might consider not doing again. People were too lazy to just go in. The other.
If we, sorry, again on the topic of the auction, if we are dubious about what artwork would be better, can we submit like 2 or 3 options, or can we give more than one in case we are not sure?
Yeah,
It's Ricardo.
sure. We can maybe like what we can do is if you want to DM me and we can chat about it, and when if you have like we can chat about what could be best. Yes, of course.
Here by Discord or yes?
Yes, I think
Yeah. Okay.
Discord
Okay.
should work. Yeah. And again, to just go back to like I just shared the past Arium Spaces exhibitions. I think like this is probably, I mean, from like some of the past feedback that we get is like probably some of the most, I don't know, fun part also of like the residency is to work on like the actual like exhibition space and project. So if this is like something that you're interested and curious about doing, it's also like a good way to like experiment on how to build a space in Arium. So yeah, let me know because we can start kind of like working on this. Also, sorry, I forgot to say this, but we do send to all of you guys funds to Mint. So we will be sending Tezos to all of you and your wallets, which will be more than enough, let's say, to Mint. So yeah, we give some artists like art support for that, for the creation and like minting of the NFT. It's kind of like both.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for that.
If the exhibition is the 4th, the 5th of May, when do you think? Because I guess they need to be put into the space and tried out and stuff.
Yes.
When should we be ready?
Yes. So ideally, the pieces, the artworks should be ready, let's say the 29th. So a couple of days before, so that we can have 3 days for people to, for, us to kind of like put them into the space. We've done things last minute, but I think like ideally if I say like 28th, 29th, I know that then there's going to be a couple of days. So I think 28th, 29th is like a good deadline. I'll share like all of this in like a big kind of like thread after this class so that you have it like in here in Discord. So don't worry if like you're missing things now. Like I will like type it all out, but I did want to like hang out a bit and just chat so that I could answer like questions and stuff like that. Are there any other questions or thoughts? can also be unrelated to this and just generally.
Oh, like if we can ask unrelated stuff. So I saw your tweet. I think it was today or yesterday.
Yeah.
It like I can tell that you're sort of unhappy with how the space is right now, and I'd like just some more general thoughts about that. Just like where you're at and like how you're thinking about stuff right now, and yeah.
Funny. A lot of people had pinged me that. I think I need to be less less honest in my tweets, maybe.
No, no, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I think it's just like the reality of it is that the space and how it is at the moment, it's very, in my view, like commercialized, and I think people who like push in and plug in a lot of money get a lot of recognition and like become these kind of like gods. And people who bring value with other forms of value that is not money don't. And yeah, that's kind of annoying. And I guess it's how the world goes. But yeah, that's that is like my thought lately. But that doesn't mean that I'm like sad or anything. It's just like it's the reality. I think there was a little bit less of this like last year, but I think definitely as soon as like you know not even money came in, because I think like money was here before, but it was more about like how to show off the money that you made, and like people being able to do that to higher levels and bigger levels, and it just kind of like it became a bit, I don't know, kind of like boring in some ways. There's not a lot of like experimentation or a lot of like new ideas. It's all very like, I do this because I want to earn a lot of money or become rich or buy a car or get a watch or something like that. And I think like honestly, it's also like a reflection of some of the conferences that I go to, which are, especially in the US, which are definitely kind of imprinted into this. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. That's definitely interesting. I've noticed that as well, where there's like certain influencer types who are treated as gods. But I hope like there's a lot of people who look up to both VCA and Mocha, because you guys are sort of in the same, pretty much in the same sort of like ethos and air. And there's a lot of people in the space who highly respect you guys.
Oh, thank you. I know that, but I know, and I love like Mocha. I spend a lot of time, hang a lot with Coburn and Shivani, and we really do have like the same, a lot of the same ideals, and like we think very aligned in a lot of things. So I'm grateful that they are pushing this narrative of non-commoditized, non-money driven value or like market, and yeah, but should be more. There should be more, but I think there won't be. Essentially, like people will try and like go more towards the easier side of like doing things, which is essentially like making money.
Yeah, I want to echo that statement. I had coffee with a friend of mine from like school yesterday, and she was just asking me about the crypto art space. And she, from kind of like an outside perspective, really only understood the NFT space as like the Bored Apes and like Lazy Lions. And she's like,
Yeah.
is there more to it than just that? And I'm like, of course there is. And I just like went down this rabbit hole of telling her about the vertical crypto art Discord. I'm like, you have to like start here and check it out. Check out Mocha. Like, I feel like it's almost my mission whenever I have friends asking me about the space to like direct them to like these spaces of importance. So if that makes you feel better, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah. Also, Artnome is a great kind of like person in the space, and like Fanny, and there's a few, and yeah, they're all like really really valuable like people I think Arnhem is definitely is, and I love what they're doing at Right Click and Save as well, the editorial, because I think it's like, nurturing even like more like critical thinking and like critical thoughts and critical writing, and highlighting like some of the great art and like work and just in general like ideas that get shared across or have been shared across the space. So yeah, I don't know if like you guys are like familiar with Right Click Save, but if you're into like reading articles and editorials, it's definitely one that I would recommend.
I would like to ask you one thing, Micol. I am afraid of when the pandemic is over, all the connections, the professional connections in the NFT and art NFT world will be personal and not online, like will be in real parties in the main capitals. I think I've done this question before, but do you believe that we will still have some online Web3 spaces where to meet? Like vertical crypto art will be online forever, or yeah, that would be.
For sure. We will for sure. And I think many others as well. Even if you think about like Mocha and like what they're doing as the museum being a completely online, like virtual museum, and that's really like their aim and their goal. Like we will be online. Of course, I think what you're saying is around like more events taking place, like people meeting in person. For sure, we're gonna see like more of that. We're already seeing it. There's like an event after the other after the other. But I do think that there's like, I mean, at least for us, like there's something very valuable about also like nurturing your like online community that is kind of like borderless and really bringing in people globally in a same space without any, or not any, but without any, like without major friction, such as traveling, time zones, etc. So I think it's super valuable. I personally love being online. Like I'm not as much as I look like I'm an extrovert. I'm really not. And I like the fact that the online can aid a little bit in that. And I think Discord and in some ways also Twitter, but I think also primarily like Discord is a really great way to nurture this kind of like online community. So for sure we will be. I think others will too. And I think events will. I think this year and next year will probably be the boom of like NFT events. Everybody will want to do like an NFT event, and then slowly it'll start like becoming more normalized and die down. But I do think the value of like online communities and what that means and how people can connect without being in the same space, in the same country at the same time is extremely valuable. And I think even like if I think about brands or like bigger institutions see that.
Thank you.
Micol, the resources, like, I really think the whole residency has been so valuable with all the classes and the AMAs. And are they going to stay online, or
Yeah,
are
of
they
course.
just going to be there as long as the residency lasts?
No. So all of these resources, like if you go on the website, there's also all of the resources of the past ones. So you can see all of the classes. The whole point of this is for the classes to be available for anyone, anytime, anywhere, as long as they have access to internet. Which I know is not everyone, but yeah. that's so all of them will be available. Yes, forever. They won't go away.
Hoorah! It's a great library. I mean, when we did the AMA with the funny guys, and then the day after, I read through the one from last year, and there's just so much information to get out of it. Well, so it's brilliant thing.
Yeah. I know. It's a really good library. I'd love to like find ways to make it like more visible, because I think there's like so much like really good knowledge sharing that happens in these classes. But yeah, it's all there. It's not going anywhere. That's the whole point of the program, is really to like have people have access to all of these classes for free anytime.
Great.
In fact, like I try to kind of like redirect whenever I have like friends or like people that are asking me about like certain things, or like especially like NFTs, or like how to get into it and stuff like that. I usually redirect them to the residency website and tell them to like have a look at the classes. I know it's like a lot of content, but it's usually like a good way for people to get started, especially like some of the initial kind of like intro classes with ArtGnome, or like with it's a good way for people to give a bit of context that is not, you know, the Bored Ape narrative. Is everything clear? There's one tonight in my kitchen, lol. There's always an NFT party going on somewhere, somehow in the world. Is there any kind of like questions or thoughts specifically, well, of any kind, but specifically about what I mentioned before of auction, exhibition, and kind of like final 3-4 weeks of the residency?
Hey, Micol. I did have just if you could sort of dig into the Arium build a little bit more. So is this sort of anticipation that one or some of us will kind of volunteer ourselves to build the space for everybody else to list their work inside of, or are we anticipating multiple builds, smaller builds? Because I know last time Micol and Boria, and I forget the other guy's name, was it Walt? I know that they built that. I'm just I'm just wondering whether there's some, names in this cohort that anticipate doing that.
So that's what I'm asking as well. So I don't know who will work on it. We do have like past residents who will be happy to work on it if nobody wants to from this residency. It's also like it's always like it's the work is compensated as well, so it's not for free. So all of the people who work on all of the past builds always get compensation for it. Last time it was Micol and Boria, and yeah, a couple of people more. And actually, like a few of the other residents also built their own portals. So essentially, like it can also be that like you want to build your own like gallery in the gallery of the residency, and we have a portal that will lead to your gallery space. So we had it with Icaro Occulted last time, and with Boria actually as well. She built a beautiful gallery called Pieces of Me that I would definitely recommend to have a look at if you haven't had a look at it yet. So yeah, all options open, to be honest.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. I think there's sort of part of me that's like sort of excited to take part in the sort of process of that. And there's another, I don't know, I guess kind of sort of protective part of me that obviously has, a full-time job, and I really want to make like a kind of piece for the auction that I'm super like into and proud of, and kind of want to put a lot of energy into that. So yeah, maybe it's something that I guess we'll discuss as a group. Really, that will naturally happen, I guess. It's sort of like I want to be involved, but I don't want to drown under the responsibility of it, I guess.
Yeah, no worries and no pressure as well. Like it's only something that if you want to, if you have time, if you have, yeah. And also like usually, it doesn't have to be like. Actually, it's better if it's not like 7 or 8 people, but if it's like a couple, like 2, 3 people, because it's easier to like manage and actually like work together. So don't feel pressured in any way to be like, yes, I have to take part in the building of the space.
I was really interested by the water in. I'm drawn by the water in Boria and Michael's space. They showed us a couple of weeks ago. I might have a little play around with it, but yeah, thanks, Micol. That's really nice. You've allayed my saying yes and saying no anxieties. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Nobody should feel pressured to do anything. Even with the donation of the piece, like it's totally optional. So you can decide whatever you want, whatever makes you feel better. Are we continuing the lounge even once the classes have stopped? Yes, I believe so.
Hi,
Yes.
Micol.
Hey, Santiago.
Hi. I am. I would love to participate in the building of the exhibition, but I have to check if I get to. I'm about to buy a new computer, so maybe when that happens, I will know if it makes sense for me to offer to take part, because my computer can't handle even Arium that is liked.
Of course. Absolutely. Completely understand.
I mean, I won't interrupt everyone's time of planning and deciding which group would do that, but I'll try to quickly have some idea of what will happen with that and me. And I have some experience on Blender. It's a kind of experience, and I'd love to learn more about doing that, being building.
Yeah, and maybe Santiago, it's also like if like your computer doesn't arrive or like you can't actually like be in Arium, it's maybe like a way to contribute like with like creative ideas or like how to build it or how you envision it as well.
Yeah, so with computer much better, but in that other way you say, I have time and I'm super down to be helping with that.
Cool. I think Claudia also just said she'd love to work on the space. So that's already 2 people. That's amazing. Yeah, Zala, just to kind of like recap. So the day of like the work that has to be, let's say, completed, ideally is going to be 27th, 28th of April, because the exhibition and the auction will be on the 4th and the 5th of May. So it's going to be Wednesday and Thursday, 4th and 5th. Again, if there's anybody else who wants to Oh, go ahead, Anubis.
I was just gonna ask, like, from your experience in the past two residencies, how do the auctions go? Like, how do they usually go? And like, how do the artists like feel about them at the end usually?
In what sense?
I mean, like, do you consider them like as like vertical crypto art like successful auctions and like successful shows, or like has stuff like happened that you guys didn't expect, or like were they like considered successful?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's really never about for us. It's really never about the actual like outcome of the money, really. But I think what is important and what is like a metric of success is that the artists and like the people that essentially like some of the collectors that collect the pieces are maybe like new collectors and also like I guess supporters of like part of our network at BCA. So usually what we've seen in past auctions is that collectors like collectors that are people that are I guess like part of our network and like which we have like relationships with are supporting the artists and the residency, which I think is like a really nice way for artists to then engage in like a new meaningful connection with someone. Also, I think if a collector is ready to essentially like collect a work where they have like no speculative side to it, it's usually like quite a good collector, and it's some of the people that we have as collectors of VCA are really these people, which we're very happy about. And so that to me is like a successful outcome of the auction, which has happened so far. But so it's more about like the connections that are made and actually like about the event itself, because it's always like a really fun time and a celebration of the end of a 12-week program. And there's like an event, and the space in itself is like a reflection of a collaborative effort and work that is being made and that has been made by the residents. So it's not really about like the outcome of the like money wise, but it's more about like the whole experience, I think.
I was asking. I should have clarified that I wasn't asking about the money side. I was just like asking like if it was like a successful like if you guys like notice the artists are happy, right, or if the viewers are going through the full gallery and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Like we usually like the guys at Arium are always like super happy when we have like auctions and exhibitions, because we always have quite a lot of like unique viewers and people coming into the space and the event, and the artists have, yeah, they've seemed to be happy. That's what we've heard. But yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for the artists, but I think it's been good so far. Yes.
okay, thank you. I was just asking because I remember in one of my BFAs, one of my BFAs, as if I have like 10. In my second year or third year, one of my teachers was like, "Yeah, you have to watch how you exhibit your stuff, because the way you exhibit the thing can actually make or break your show, and how it's sort of digested by the viewer if they walk through it." And I was just curious about that because, like, right, like, the difference in experience, even in personal shows, like in-person shows and metaverse shows, for example, can be different. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Have you had like metaverse shows?
I've been to some,
Mm.
and they've always been weird. Where it's like, that's why I was asking you, because like, so far from what I've seen, a lot of metaverse shows like they don't seem to account for the mistakes that we have in real life shows, and they make them like 10 times worse, which is a bit weird to me. Um, but yeah, it's like from the ones I've seen, like not a lot of them like actually like treat it as like an exhibition space. It's weird, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to some of the, I can send some of the videos that we've done from the past shows, but the way that we do the events is we actually start with like a curatorial talk or tour where we go through all of the pieces. I usually present the pieces, but to be honest, can be anyone. And like go through, the artist, the work, the context behind it. And then after that, we start the auction, and we start with like some of the live music sets and DJs. And depending on how, if there's bids or like taking place, I might kind of like drop in and say, this bid, this piece has this bid and whatever. And then we kind of like close the event at like the 2 hour mark, let's say. And that's usually how it goes. But yeah, we try to put context into like the work and what it means, and give people an understanding of what they are looking at and how the space has been made, etc.
Okay. And on a side tangent, I know you just mentioned DJs and stuff. Are you guys in need of any visuals? Because like I have a whole rig of um emulated circuit bending on my computer that I essentially just like built for music not music visualization, but to use like at events for shows in person and stuff. But here in Canada and COVID, um, we're not getting a lot of in-person shows. So like, I mean, if you guys are looking for some visuals, let me know, because I have a whole thing that I can just set up and leave for 2 hours, and it will
Yeah,
stay.
that'd be super cool. That definitely would be
Yeah.
super cool. I'm
Alright.
gonna figure out who's going, and also like if there's anybody who'd like to like DJ, or if you have that skill or know of a friend. Like last time we had a Garrison who was one of the last residents, a DJ, and also one of his friends came in and DJ'd as well. So if you have suggestions for that, like happy to, yeah, let me know.
I've got a
Yeah.
friend who's pretty. Sorry to cut you off, Anubis. You go ahead. Daniel, I'm gonna fucking come over there in Montreal and stab you to death. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm seeing you tomorrow, bro. So you can do it then.
Yeah.
I was saying, I have a friend who like I think he's a really good DJ, so I could connect you guys.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Hey, that's if Daniel doesn't get $5 wrench attacked tomorrow on Saturday when I see him.
Oh
And
my
yeah, for those
God.
who are yeah, I guess yeah, me and Daniel share the same city. That's why we're able to talk like this. Yeah, we know each other in person.
Yeah, I figured.
Um, well, I guess this might be sort of unrelated, but well, maybe Micol, since you've been in this space, like, and you've been like dealing with artists and stuff, how do you feel about, or well, yeah, how do you feel about the nature of sort of like political work and politically based work making its way into like exhibition? Like, from your experience, is it received well, or is there still like a barrier between like politics and sort of art in this space, or have you even thought about that at all, or no?
Pierre Gervois from our last residency does a lot of that in his work and conceptual work, poetry, etc. I've seen quite a lot of that actually. I think like a lot of the early, especially like the early crypto art. I mean, if you think about like Robness, but also like Stella Bell, Missile Simpson, like it's, I mean, I wouldn't say like it's directly political, but it's definitely like social political. So yeah, I think it's. I mean, I'm not a. I like it, but I'm not against it. I think it's definitely made its way in crypto art pretty early as well. Definitely. Maybe now it's a bit less because everybody prefers seeing pretty pictures. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think it has a place in a space. Actually, all art, you know, has to be in some way or form like moving, or like has to have like a meaning, you know. So other than being like pretty, which is I guess also important. But yeah.
Oh, I have a random question. So like we're in this space, we're in this crypto art space. And from my view, there's I don't know necessarily if how do I word this properly? Would just by virtue of being in this space, we be crypto artists? Because I know that there is a sect of art that is truly crypto art, you know, that follows that follows the ethos of like the early Bitcoin days and just decentralization and crypto in general. That's something that I've been thinking about where I don't know if I should consider myself a crypto artist. I definitely won't call myself an NFT artist. Like where's the line drawn with that?
Yeah, the endless question. I don't know how to answer that because I don't know actually. It's funny. We like, yeah. I think artists ask themselves a lot this, and I ask myself a lot like, what is crypto art and how is the definition of it? And for a time, I used to think that like crypto art was like specifically art made in reference to like a certain moment in time related to like the rise, I guess, of like cryptocurrencies and what that meant in the blockchain and art space for artists. But I don't know. Some people say that like crypto art is just art that like shows or symbolizes like crypto based or like crypto references. Others think that like crypto art is art that like uses the blockchain as a medium. Um, so I don't know. It's a hard question. I really don't. Everybody has their own definition, I think.
Gotcha. Thanks for the answer.
Yeah, it's not a very useful answer. I'm sorry.
You know what I realized? I remember being in one of my environmental science classes and one of my teachers showing this like sculpture of like this dude like who like essentially sculpted like half heads of people and put it in this area that got overflowed with water, and it was like politicians discussing global warming. And it's like that's how I feel trying to discuss the NFT space, that it's like we're all here trying to figure it out, and the next thing we're gonna know is like we don't know what the NFT space has changed into. We're just discussing while it just changes in front of us, and then we're just gonna be overtaken by it. it's it's funny a little bit. I find it to be hilarious.
I find that funny too. I wish there was reactions on Discord because I was laughing, but I didn't want to unmute and cut you off my laugh.
Yo, Discord fucking kills me because it's like I've been trying to throw hundreds too, and I'm like, wait, there is no hundreds in Discord, just silence. All right.
Annabeth, that was poetic. There's no hundreds in Discord. There's just time.
We just need some tumbleweed emojis, don't we?
Yeah, maybe some crickets as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Instead of emojis, we just need reaction soundboards with just like explosion sounds and sirens and everything.
I'd be so down for that, but it would get a lot really quick. Imagine like all of us in here like blasting the siren. Like Anubis talks, we just fucking hit the boo 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 boo. It would be so much.
I have a voice changer and shit. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
All right. I know you have the residency. There's a residency lounge tonight as well, if anybody's taking part in that. But just to recap a little bit. So, one, if you're interested in building the Arium space, let me know. I know Claudia has already said she is. If there's anybody, Santiago as well, if there's anybody else, just kind of like ping me. The auction and exhibition will take place on the 4th and 5th of May, and the pieces should be ready by the 27th, 28th of April. Minted on Tezos, one of ones, can be donated or not, completely optional, depending on what you guys want to do. We'll be sending funds for you guys to mint bar create. What else? And yeah, that's it. There's all the mentors are still available for you guys to have like one-of-ones, so please make sure you do. If you have any questions around like pricing or what you'd like to you're confused about what you'd like to exhibit and stuff, just let me know, and we can chat about it. Something else that I just popped in my mind. Oh yeah, so I know you're all receiving or should be receiving soon the ledger. So as soon as I guess the majority of people have it, I know for some people it might take a little bit longer, but we can set up a kind of like a short tutorial with Phil to figure out how to essentially use the ledger, how to install it, how to put it in, etc. So we can do that, I guess, probably in a couple of weeks or the week after Easter. I'm not sure when people will have it, but just make sure I guess I'll put a survey in next week to see who has received the ledger or not, and we can figure it out from there. When is the best time to do the class?
And can we do someday karaoke all together? That would be good for us as a group.
Yeah, of course. It's a great
Let's
idea.
do it.
Excellent. I'll drive now, so I'll listen if you talk a bit more, but I won't be able to say things. Thank you so
Okay.
much. I love the residency.
Thank you, Santiago. I'll chat to you soon. Super. Okay. Thanks, everyone. If you have anything else, just feel free to ping me here or on Twitter. And yeah, excited. I'll send a recap of everything that I said in half an hour.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
very much.
This.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Nicole.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers,
Bye.
everyone. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.